Now, what does that mean? Well, from time to time, I'll get somebody who will say, look, I'm trying to reduce my cash outlay, both down payment and closing costs. And maybe we're a situation where seller's just not willing to offer anything as a credit to cover closing costs, and maybe the buyer's squeamish about offering above list price in order to get that credit to cover their closing costs. Is there any other option? Oftentimes, I'll have a borrower say, "Hey, can I finance my closing costs into my loan amount?" Well, the short answer is no. You can't do that. You can't, borrow, 400,000 on a $500,000 property, and if you got 10,000 in closing costs, you make your loan amount 410. Well, you can make your loan amount 410, but there's all kinds of issues with that. You're going to be less than 20% down. You're going to trigger PMI expense and so forth. So, from a practical reality standpoint, financing your closing costs into your loan amount is not a workable solution. But what is, you can finance your closing costs into the rate. This is what number 3, the option 2 is, using a lender credit to reduce your cash needed to close. What that means is if you can check with any lender, check with us, and we'll tell you probably what's the market rate today for a conforming conventional loan. And I would tell you today it's 6.25. Well, let's say you're buying a home, you're putting a minimal down, and you're really scraping. You would like to get your closing costs covered. Seller isn't willing to help you. Do you have another option? Yeah. What you would do is take that rate, 6.25, and raise it. Now, we have to determine your debt ratio is still going to be okay, but let's assume you've got good income, and that's not going to be an issue. Raise the rate that you select so that instead of getting 6.25 at 0 points, get 6.75, 0.5% higher. And then guess what that means? You'll probably get a net lender credit that could be as much as 2.5 or 3% of your loan amount. And that is a lender credit from the lender, cash dollars that you can then use to pay your closing costs. So then what you can do, and when you look at these two options, option 1 and option 2, what I'm suggesting is we can either, we got a variety of ways we can attack this. Get a seller credit, either off a full list price or even a premium over full list price so that the seller still nets their list price. Get that credit, and we can use that to buy down your rate either permanently or temporarily, and have money left over quite often to cover all or most of your closing costs. Or a combination where we get enough credit where you can cover the buy down piece, but then take a note rate that you're going to buy down from and select a higher than market note rate. So you're creating a lender credit that will still help you pay your closing costs, so that way you're still addressing both your need to get a lower rate starting off for 2 to 3 years if it's a temporary, or permanently if you go for a permanent buy.